Hi there. It's January the 26th and we continue our journey through Matthew's Good News, and we're in chapter 17 reading from verses 10 to 27. In the first part of our reading, the disciples are puzzled about the timetabling that Jesus has laid down for his going to Jerusalem. They thought that before Messiah comes, surely Elijah has got to come first, and they've just seen Elijah up the mountain. But now Jesus says, no, actually Elijah has come. Elijah's already been here in the person of John the Baptist. He has come in the spirit of Elijah to prepare the way of the Lord. And now Jesus reveals to him that this is the way it's going to be, that he is now come to fulfill that task, that journey as Messiah. As they're coming down the mountain, a man comes up to them and pleads with them, and this is, we're really talking about Jesus, Peter, James and John, the ones who've been up the mountain. And a man comes to Jesus and says, I have a son who isn't speaking, he's demonized, he's really having a struggle, but your disciples can't cast these things out of him. And Jesus says, oh, they're of such little faith. How long am I going to be with you? And he casts out the demons and he sets the boy to rights. And then the disciples saying, well, why couldn't we do this? We, after all, have been sent out as your apostles. Jesus says, these things are a matter of faith. It depends on how much you're looking into God's eyes, into God's face. And they said that if you're looking in God's direction, God can do these things. And actually, these ones particularly, need prayer. And some manuscripts say need fasting. So we're all on this learning curve. We must never get discouraged when things don't seem to work out for us. Jesus is teaching his disciples more as he goes along. And then lastly, Jesus is asked, or his disciples are asked, whether Jesus pays the temple tax. Every Jew was required to pay a tax for the upkeep of the temple, up to drachma, and this is told, of course I do, of course I pay that. But then Jesus says, actually, as children of the kingdom, we're not bound by the things that bind the earth people. We are really free under heaven. However, we don't want to be causing people a problem. We don't want to cause offence, and therefore we will pay it. Peter, go down and have a look for a fish down in the sea that has a coin in its mouth, and you can pay my tax and yours with that. It's basically Jesus saying, my Father is the one who provides these things. We're not to struggle and strive for the things that we have need of. God knows we have need of them, and he provides all of our needs, according to his riches, Paul says, in glory. So today we see that God calls us, Jesus calls us to have faith. It's a matter of even a tiny grain of mustard seed will see mountains moved. Whatever the mountains are in our lives, whatever things we face, as we look to God, as we trust him, it's not about our effort, it's actually about looking to our Father's hand to provide all that we need. Have a very good January 26th.